Praise the Lord, niggas.
I will, actually.
You should.
Don't push me. Don't push me, all right?
Because you're close to the edge?
Listen, he's still good, you know. He's still good.
He's not going to let you lose your head.
Listen. I did not come here to shout. Hey, girl.
What's up,
Hey,
sis?
girls and boys.
Hey, friends, cousins, nieces and nephews.
Yes.
Daughters and sons.
Welcome me, welcome you. Welcome back to episode 31 of Getting Grown, where we discuss all things adulting, the trials and tribulations, the tests, the twists, the turns. And we just out here trying to figure out how to do it for real, right, sis?
Because who in the hell wants
God.
an ashy soul?
I mean, truly, really, moisturize.
Love you, Dustin.
Thank you, Dustin. Thank you for the gift that you are. Dustin said that Hazel E looked like a Dodge Ram.
Dustin said that Janet Jackson had a fidget spinner on her titty at the Super Bowl. So, Dustin has said a lot of things, and they have all been gold.
What are we going to do? How do we solve a problem like Dustin? Huh?
You can't.
You just can't. But yeah. Welcome back. Listen, let's just get into this right now. We're late this week. We do know that. We appreciate all of you who felt it pertinent to remind us
we
that
definitely announced it.
We did. We let you guys know. Unfortunately, life happened super quickly. My sis was stranded in the ATL. She could not get back home.
Could not.
And for that reason, we were unable to record the show Monday night as planned so that you could have your show on Tuesday. But we're going to make sure that you have a show this week. Yeah. So here we are, recording episode 31 again. Jade is safe and sound. We thank you all for being so concerned. Shout out to everyone who was like, are y'all all right?
I'm
y'all good?
Still here.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. Tisha Campbell. Toilet Tisha. Oh my gosh. Yeah, y'all. We appreciate y'all. So concerned. Listen.
Yeah.
Hey, blows my mind. Blows my mind that y'all that as many people noticed that we were not in your podcast apps on Tuesday.
And we are most appreciative. However, just like I just want you all to know that a nigga was in the airport for a smooth 4.5 hours trying to figure out how to get back to record for you all. Really, like deadass was really like I was working hard to get back to New York specifically to record Getting Grown. I could have stayed in Atlanta till Tuesday. I did stay in Atlanta till Tuesday against my will, but I like originally could. I was trying to get back for you all. We let you all know we was gonna be late, and niggas was still like, y'all ain't coming, or how far are you?
I mean, in fairness, we did not let them know how late we were going to be. So people thought we was going to be a couple hours late or a day late.
I definitely said later this week. I for sure said later this week.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to get it. Okay. I'm going to be quiet.
Definitely.
I tried, y'all.
I just want y'all, when the door says push it. Don't pull it.
You know what I'm saying? Reading, comprehension. I think as a people, we could all do a little bit better about reading for understanding.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
That's really all.
The same thing for listening. My brother always used to say, I always say I'm going to put it on a t-shirt. Listening is a sign of intelligence.
It really is.
So many of us don't really listen. You know what I'm saying? We just out here hearing.
Don't be offended. You get on the ones that you love.
That's what I'm saying. We all out here trying to be better.
That's it.
We all out here trying to be better.
That's it.
And speaking of, we've been receiving some emails, right?
Some very interesting ones.
We thank y'all. You know, the Getting Grown podcast at gmail.com email inbox is always Poppington.
Okay. Like a
and we appreciate that, right? We do. But there's sometimes, you know, I understand feedback is good.
It's
you know what I'm saying? How are we supposed to learn and improve and grow without feedback? That's just like going to class and never get no grade. So we understand. Absolutely. People going to have feelings and criticism, constructive and not so constructive, but
you need an evaluation at work.
I'm down. You know what I'm saying?
Comprende.
But there are some, you know, there's a difference between like feedback and just straight up like, how do I want to phrase this? Feedback and just straight up like.
My mother always told me.
Directives? Like.
Directives.
We get quite a few of those. Let me just say this. I owe Jade an apology.
You do not actually. What I want, okay. No, I'm going to cut you off now. I'm going to cut you off quickly because.
I owe Jade.
Nah, you don't. Okay, so listen, we're just going to keep it real funky with you all. So, like, this show is, this is not an episode of The Real World. Keia and I did not meet on the first day of production.
All right.
We've been friends for years.
Like, long time.
Like when her hair was long and permed. And
indeed. Relaxed.
I'm not a soft nigger. So if I feel bullied or, like somebody's being mean to me, I generally have a way of being meaner back to them.
Yeah. I mean, I know that. So I know that it's hard to read. Some people, if you're not familiar with us, and not only just us, but like our entire friends group, we rag on each other all the time.
Nobody's nice.
Like we just as a collective treat one another like trash, and out of love, like the sincerest affection. I mean, not qualifying this or justifying this to anyone, but it had come to my attention that there were people who were concerned about the way that I treat Jade. I didn't realize that I was treating Jade any particular kind of way. Me not allowing her to express herself, me telling her to shut up, me cutting her off. Listen, these are things, a lot of times, y'all listening to the show is legit listening in on me and Jade's genuine day-to-day conversation.
Organic.
Or like, it's not, listen, I
am naturally irritated. Like, I'm a natural troll.
This is how this is her love language. This is how she shows people that she cares for them. She does things intentionally to get on their nerves because she enjoys watching me react.
Or I cut somebody out for it. And the more people react, the more I laugh. I don't know if y'all noticed that.
I mean, exactly. As much as I tell Jade to be quiet, she just the laughs bellow. Like, they literally echo and get louder. She isn't. But listen, I know that there's a difference between our banter, the way that we exchange with one another. I have so much respect for Jade. I think she's an awesome person, an awesome mother. I would never ever do anything publicly or privately to disrespect her, but as friends, when we get on one another's nerves, we could check one another. We could be honest. We could be genuine, whatever. And we do, as we'll probably get into later in the show, there are areas in life where Jade and I don't agree.
Yeah.
But because we connect on other levels, because we share values, and because we have genuine concern for one another, we can disagree.
Right.
And we can, respectfully, and it's no love lost. So, I hope that those who are offended by the way that Jade and I engage will take this as, as I mean, I thought for a long time whether or not we should just not respond to it or pay it or whatever, but I don't know. I wanted to be clear that if there's any confusion out there, Jade is my friend. She's my sis. I don't treat her. I mean, even if I do cut her off and tell her to stop singing, it does not mean that I don't like her, and it does not mean that she's going to stop. That I'm going to stop doing it either. So yeah.
You'll once.
No, here we go.
Twice.
Oh yes.
3 times a lady.
I'm just going to let Jay sing the whole show.
I'm done.
All right.
I'm done. Yeah. But for the young lady who wrote in, I hope that you are not offended.
Really. Like, it's all love.
It's love, but Keia and I've been friends, and I'm sorry that it makes you uncomfortable.
We not new to this. True to it.
We've been friends.
Yeah,
it's a very sincere and organic sistership, and so
we've been cutting each other off for years.
You just gotta deal with it. So anyway.
No shade. Keep listening, sis. Hopefully I won't deter you from doing that. But if not, there are a myriad of other podcasts out here for your listening pleasure and delight.
And I thank you so much for coming to my defenses.
Indeed.
But I'm a real mean nigga. Like, I really know how to get it in.
This is the same nigga that threw bananas at somebody. You threw a banana at somebody here recently?
I did. And you'll hear about something else that I threw on Jade and XD this week. So
tune in. Tune in for the latest.
Yeah, if you have any doubt whatsoever that I don't know how to handle my own, go ahead, check that out on Friday. So, let's get into it this week. How was your week and weekend?
Man. My week was cool. My weekend was I stayed home and did lots of work. I know I'm going to be on the road here, traveling the next few weekends coming up until Thanksgiving. So I took the opportunity to just enjoy my own little apartment, my own little space. I stayed home. I made use of the cable that I pay so much money for on a monthly basis. And I did work. I had a weekend to-do list because I'm a real live adult now. I made a to-do list before I left work on Friday of all the stuff that I needed to do before Monday. And, I'm a real G because I checked all the things off. I'm out here making boss moves.
Hey!
But yeah, it was a low key weekend. This work week has been, full but productive, same old.
Word.
How was ATL? How was the, pop-up? How just, fill niggas in?
It was so good. We had a lot of Getting Grown listeners there.
So nice.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming out and celebrating with Santana and I for our very first For the Culture Catering pop-up as a duo. It was a really good time. It turned into literally the dopest dinner party ever. It was lit.
Love it.
The ladies were very hype. We had Uncle and Auntie Jams, provided by DJ Wally Sparks, my homeboy in Atlanta, who so graciously came out and DJ'd the event. So he was able to give them the Auntie and Uncle Jams, and then he turned it up because I turned to him and told him that I needed some nigga shit. So he started playing Gucci and booty music, and it was everything that you want while you're eating pork. So it was a good time, but thank you guys so much. And to the lady with the Airbnb, I wish there was a way for me to shout her out without just like putting her address out there, but she was Black owned. If there's a way for me to like link you guys, I'm going to try to do so in the description box. If you're ever in the Atlanta area, it's a super convenient area. It's a very, very cute house. So we moved all the furniture out of the living room, but we worked hard, but it was very fulfilling. It was very fulfilling.
That's awesome. I love that.
But Southwest Airlines pissed me off.
Oh, wow.
The whole time. I was 3 hours delayed going because of crew rest. I don't even know what I was like, do they need to take a nap?
Sis. They needed
They didn't schedule that in the flights? Like, they just delay a 6 o'clock flight to 9 a.m.?
Well, they just were probably backed up. They might have been delayed earlier in the day. But there's only like there's an allotted number of hours that they're able to work per day. So
that's fine, but don't schedule flights if y'all work too much. And then on top of that, when I was leaving Atlanta, my flight was delayed 4 times.
Tell them
4
why
times.
You mad, why you mad.
I was pissed.
Tell them why you mad.
I will. I was pissed. 4 times the flight was delayed to the point where I was going to miss my connecting flight. And then the young lady behind the counter, I think she was young, but I don't know. She said to me, okay, well, what I can do is reroute you to St. Louis and then to Chicago, but there's no guarantee that you're not going to get stuck in one of those cities. What? So why would you try? I said, what are you going to put me on in which I can get home guaranteed? Why would you even suggest that to me?
Listen.
Anyway, it's not petty peeves time.
Sometimes the skies are not friendly, sis.
And they weren't this weekend, but it's fine because the party was dope. It was lit, and I really, really thank all of you guys for coming out and showing your support for not only for the culture and for Jade of all Jades, but for Getting Grown, because they specifically were like, I was in the kitchen, we were plating and getting things ready, and I'm like, I'm here, yeah, I listen to Getting Grown.
Yes,
and I was like,
girl.
yeah, nigga.
Yes.
So shout out to y'all.
Oh, well, when is the For the Culture catering event in the DMV?
It's actually very soon. We're planning dates very soon in DC and also in Chicago and New York, of course. So stay tuned for those coming very, very
You know,
soon.
my birthday is coming up very soon as well.
Oh, I know, sis. I know. And it's a big one for you.
Oh God, we don't have to
Yeah.
talk about that right now. Is there anything in taking out the trash this week that we need to cover before heading to the? Before we shout out the sisterins.
Oh, let's see. What happened this week? What did we miss? I think we missed the Gucci Mane wedding.
I didn't miss it. I watched it.
Well, we missed it for the show. So.
Oh well, true.
What were your thoughts?
I mean, I thought the wedding was, did we? I feel like we talked about it on the show. No?
We didn't, sis, because we recorded last Monday.
We talked about, okay. I watched it, and it was $1.7 million worth of wedding.
And it was 1.7 stars. I was high-key disappointed.
I thought that it was a little lackluster.
The quality
there were high
of
points.
BET's cameras.
There were high points. I really enjoyed Keisha's dress.
Did you?
I liked it. I mean, and I enjoyed that she hit them with the step touch down the aisle.
She sure did.
So y'all going to get into this step touch. I'm going to march right in. This
with a sully face.
Professional. I did feel like, though, it wasn't, I was expecting to feel a lot more love. Like, I felt like both of them were standing up there like they was waiting on the number 6 bus.
I agree. I thought they were waiting for the 42.
But I feel like a $1.7 million event has to, like, it wasn't a wedding. It was like an event. Like, it became a production.
They cut their cake with a sword.
I mean, grand. But everyone's entitled to their own taste.
Oh, no. That was the latest part of the wedding for me.
I mean, it was exciting.
I was saying that in
there
a positive
were things that,
manner.
I thought were, interesting to behold. I will say that there was a fumble by my homie Toure Roberts. He fumbled, and I felt like I knew what he was going for. But words mean things, right? So he didn't say what he was going for. So when he was talking about like the inconvenient love, I felt like I knew what he was trying to say. That their love was resilient.
He was locked up.
Right. Their love was resilient and able to withstand inconvenient circumstances.
She was his ride or die.
Right. Like the hold you down. Like love is supposed to stand through through difficult, inconvenient things. But the love itself, it's not necessarily inconvenient. I felt like I knew where he was going, but that's not what he said. And
that's not what he said at all.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't want to sit and critique, but I thought it was cool. I did. I don't regret watching it. I thought everyone looked really wholesome and pure and saved in their white. It blessed me.
I was disappointed with the camera quality. It looked like it was filmed at the Brown Sugar.
I was disappointed with them hosting
wedding.
With the whole that Carucci and that other young lady. What's his name?
I don't know.
I was so sick of him. Like, why couldn't we
both of them?
Did we really have to have that? Like, did we really? And I just felt like who they picked to speak
was dry as Hazel.
Why would they really want, for what? Why would they feel like we needed to hear from Kim Zolciak? Why?
I don't need to ever hear from Kim Zolciak.
Ever, at all. Never.
Or her daughter.
Or that other young man that's on Gucci's label who couldn't talk with the speech impediment. What's his name? I was just like, why do they keep asking him questions?
I don't ever need to see that nigga speak a word in my life. I don't ever need to see him utter a breath.
I was like, all the people at this wedding, they decided to speak to these people? Like, why? Why for?
He's got the same reading comprehension as Noah.
I was struggling it was cool though. I am puzzled as to why the wedding comes first and now we have to go back in time to see her plan the wedding. Because logistically
for Keisha Kayor's reality
but show. I'm saying, it seems like would the reality show lead up to the wedding?
I would agree, but I guess they just had to show the wedding on 10/17. And as a Gucci evangelist, I appreciate them doing so. I was looking forward to this. It was a very big event for me personally. I have so much support for Raedrick. He's one of my favorites.
Why didn't he let his mama come?
I don't know.
And I mean, I'm sure that there's a reason. I don't want to judge because, you know, it's got to be a reason. If you don't invite your mama to your wedding, there's got to be a reason.
Or your brother.
Or your brother. I mean, I don't want to assume, but
there's a reason.
There must be a reason. So I don't want to say one way or another, but it is a question. Like, okay.
It's a question. I would like to know the same. How come your sibling and your mother and your child weren't there? But maybe the mama wouldn't let the child come, so that's just a question. But again, as a Gucci evangelist, I was very disappointed with the camera quality. I will say that 1,000,000 times because I was very disappointed with the camera quality. It was like when your iPhone turns yellow at 10 o'clock.
Okay. All right. Well, Gucci also today was on the New York Times bestsellers list. So Gucci is back on top. Best-selling author. I thought that was pretty cool. Hey, Gucci.
I think that's pretty. I'm here for his glow up. His glow up is so hard because one of the things that my husband and myself connected over was Gucci Mane. Yeah, my sis is nodding in judgment.
I'm not nodding in judgment. I'm nodding. I'm nodding. I was actually agreeing. Yes, I remember.
It was a lot of nigga shit that connected myself.
I remember you telling me about meeting Tristan. Like, we would talk about Gucci.
Yeah. We were like really. He was really impressed with the fact that I was a Gucci fan. And then when I made a Killer Season reference, he lost. I was wifey. You know what I'm saying? But I've been a Gucci, and his glow up is so hard that I posted him when he started riding bikes and all of that. He was on his bike and all of his bike gear, smiling with those teeth.
All 57,000 of them.
And my husband's not a jealous nigga. And I got a text message immediately when I posted it on my Instagram because I posted and said mood. I got a text message immediately. No, I got a phone call. He was at work. Who is that nigga you just posted on your Instagram?
Well, who was he?
And when I tell you, I hollered in laughter. And I was like, it's Gucci. And he went back and looked. That's how hard the glow up is.
We thank God.
That's how hard it is. And I'm here for it.
Time is filled with swift transition. That's for all the church kids out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all the trash. Well, I don't want to say that Gucci and them is trash.
No, that's just what
I don't
we
know
say.
what other.
Oh, but you know who is?
News we should
45. I just want to say first of all,
can we just have a moratorium on like all 45 discussion for a little while? I need a break. But
this is really not about him.
Right.
It's more so about the widow, Maisha Johnson. I wanted to shout her out because she's really going through it, and to have to deal with this foolishness on top of losing her husband while she's pregnant, I think it's absolutely disgusting. And so I just want to take a moment to offer our deepest sympathies, condolences, and prayers for her.
Absolutely.
In this difficult time. And fuck him and everybody else who has something to say negative about it. Just know that you have support from the people who really are out here for you. We're not worried about them. They don't exist. It's not my president. So that was it.
True indeed. What if that was like?
Oh, and shout out to the stripper strike, NYC. I support you. I stand behind you, sisters.
The strippers are on strike?
They're on strike. They're upset.
Why?
Because the darker skinned strippers are they're being discriminated against in the clubs. And the bartenders, they're not hiring darker skinned bartenders. What? They're only hiring light skinned ones who are stealing the strippers' money.
What?
And are allowed
this is really happening in 2017.
This is really happening. I saw videos and I didn't know who were the dancers and who were the bartenders, and that's a problem. Because as long as I've been going to the Shake Club, which has been a long time, we've been able to differentiate
what's happening
between
here?
Dancers and the servers and the bartenders. And so for the bartenders, and as a bartender in her spirit and in time, I do not condone you all stealing from the dancers because this is their way of making money, and so I support them. So shout out to the hashtag Stripper Strike NYC. I stand behind the dancers.
Well, all right.
My sister's popping right now, like.
All right, it's time for shout out to my sis.
Oh, look
late.
who wasn't
I was
on
late.
time.
I had another tab open. I would appreciate if you would reserve your judgment.
CP time.
Shut your mouth.
That's usually what happens
Shut
to
your
me.
stupid mouth right now.
That's generally what's going on when I'm late. I had to get you back.
Girl, relax. You proud? You want a parade? What you want? $1? A pickle? What you need?
Yeah, sure. I love all of those things.
Anyway.
Sour, please.
Anyway, or whatever. And shout out to my sis this week. We are actually shouting out a business that's near and dear to my heart. This is a great segue from my petty peeve from last week for all of the Band-Aid feet of America. I was contacted by several, actually. A couple of people sent me links to different companies that offer new shoes for women of color, but I had the opportunity to engage with one young lady in particular. The partners, she and her brother have a business where they specialize in new shoes for women of color. Their website is www.3028.com. That's actually spelling out all those numbers. THIRTYEIGHT.com. All their information will be in the description box below. But house number 3028 creates nude shoes customized in 6 beautiful shades for women of color. It was created by Thressa Smith and her brother Norel when he went on leave to take care of her while she had back surgery. House number 3028 is named after their childhood house that they lost due to bankruptcy that they plan to buy back. They offer 6 shades for women of color. I said that already, but they also offer shoes of various heights. So for those of the kitten heel brigade, you can get your nude shoe for the 2-inch heel. They have a 2-inch, a 3-inch, and a 4-inch. And coming soon for the thoughts like myself, they will be featuring a 5-inch pump. It's actually 4 and 3/4. Hey! I'm like, girl, what I'm gonna do with these Fisher Price, my first pumps?
Because if you're gonna wear a heel, wear a heel.
If we're gonna have a shoe, honey, let it be a shoe.
Even if you're walking like Mr. Tumnus.
No, I will not be walking like Mr. Tumnus. I will not. Or that.
But I don't believe in kitten heels.
Listen, no pets allowed. Keep your pets at home. I don't want to see your pets in the street. There are no pets allowed in this establishment. I don't want to see your cats. Keep your cats at home, okay? No kittens. No kittens. As long as the Lord allows me to stand tall for Jesus, I will, okay? And a 5-inch pump. You understand what I'm saying to you?
And I just like to be the height that I am on the inside.
Okay, sis. I'll let you have that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, plus kitten heels are
dumb.
Like,
I feel like they're louder than everybody else's. Like, get somewhere and sit down with this old piece of shoe. Girl, get somewhere and get out of my face.
With this little stilt.
What are you doing? What you doing?
This little, what's the little ladders called? The little step ladder. It's a step ladder shoe. It is a stepping stool.
Okay. I'm gonna be 80 years old in a wheelchair in a pump. If I can't wear a pump, I'm gonna wear a Jordan. I promise. If I'm not be able to wear a real shoe, I'm gonna be in a sneaker, a flat.
I'm gonna be a granny and some Timbs. I know I am.
Early. But I'm gonna do it while I have this chance. So yeah, everybody go to 3028.com, and for our Getting Grown listeners specifically, you can get free shipping on your order if you use the coupon code SENDNUDES. That's SENDNUDES. Send nudes, and you can get free shipping on your order. Everybody go to house number 3028. Check out the shades. I'm sure your nude will fall into one of these 6 shades. I'm pretty sure that mine will too. I spoke to, I hope I'm saying it right. Teresa, I don't know, girl. I hope I'm saying it right. Teresa, and Narelle. I spoke to Teresa today, actually. Very sweet girl. She supports our show, and she's starting this business with her brother. She's doing this full time on her own. And I want to support her. So you guys check her out. If you like what you see, then be sure to order your nude shoes today. Send us pictures, tag us on the gram. Let us know what you think. My 4.75 inch pumps are in the mail.
Hey,
and I will keep you guys posted.
Wait, they are. Wait a minute,
girl.
Wait a minute.
Speak your grievance.
Your grievance. Okay. Salad Gate 2.0. Salad dressing gate. Teresa. Where are my shoes? How come Keia gets shoes and I don't get shoes? Is it because my nudes are generally available? Well, let me tell you something. I ain't got none. Sis. And I want to know why Keia gets shoes and I don't get shoes. I want shoes. Not fair. How am I going to wear the shoes and be able to tell other people to buy the shoes in their shades of color if I don't have the shoes?
Valid argument. But I feel like Teresa and Norel is going to hook you up just like they hook me up. You know what I'm saying? Just like they hook our listeners up with this coupon.
Me want shoes. Zapatos.
So you like Spanish and Jamaican at the same time? Okay.
Yes. Well, you know
yes,
I am
are,
in real life, but
truly.
Still.
But yes, y'all, Jay, go ahead, pick I'm going to tell you what your shade is right now, sis, because I know it. It's honey.
Oh, is it?
Your shade is honey.
Yeah.
Go ahead and
I'll take that.
Get your new shoe.
That's not disrespectful. At least it's not. Thank you, Teresa, for at least making my shady bisque, cashew, sand dunes. You know what I'm saying? Like I appreciate that. I really rise. I'm glad that you I really appreciate the fact that you named my shade after something that is wonderful and sweet. But I want one or two.
Listen, girl, we will figure this out. We'll get to the bottom of this. But in the meantime, in between time, y'all make sure y'all go to 3028.com for all of your nude shoe needs. They also
Support
come in.
Black
They have
business.
patent leather and they have a mat. Pick your pleasure, ladies. Pick your pleasure. And I'm anxious to see what they look like on the foot because, the vamp of the shoe, we can talk shoes for a long time, but I'm interested to see how the vamp of the shoe plays on the foot. You know what I'm saying? Toe cleavage or no toe cleavage is what I'm after. But I'll keep you all.
Are you a toe cleavage?
I'm not a huge toe cleavage girl, but I feel like if we go too far up, if you don't have a little bit, you're bordering on Deaconess Senior Usher Board number 2 shoes. You have to show.
I like my butt crack tied in. I like it tucked in.
A little bit.
I like my shoe crack tucked in a little bit.
A little bit, but I don't need all toe cleavage. I don't need all toe cleavage.
That's weird.
It's a lot.
That's what my lubes do.
Most lubes do that because Christian Louboutin specializes in ridiculous, like the vamp. It's like you're wearing an open-toed pump, essentially.
I don't know. All I know is he specializes in whatever the opposite of comfortable is.
He said that he's not here for your comfort. He wants your foot to look like sex, and that's what it does.
Yeah, well, you stand by your word.
Oh, yes, he does. Oh, yes, he does. But yes, that's the shout out to my sis this week. Y'all may be sure to check out the website. Let us know what you think. Yeah.
I'll give y'all my testimonial when I get some shoes.
That's it. Ooh, girl, you mad? You are bigly mad about it.
I know you're not talking.
Listen, but I had got my salad dressings though, didn't I? And they was gooder than a mug.
They aren't they? Oh my God, I'm almost
I had
out.
used them to season some what was it? It was halibut? Girl.
I made some sauce for a meat. It
for
was
a
delicious.
meat. You said
But
that
anyway.
very. I made some sauce for a meat.
For a meat.
You had meant that. I made some sauce for a meat.
I make sauce for the dick. Okay, let me stop. Freestyle go off for the dick.
Oh, so before we get to Kitchen Table Talk, we need to actually go back because I forgot to ask you if you had received your invitation to another wedding that had taken place in this week's celebrity news.
Oh, you left a chicken wrapper in the trash overnight. Stinks. You take the trash out at the top of the show, so that the show doesn't stink. Right now, it's funky because that was stupid.
Well, so I don't know.
Dumb.
Allegedly, Tony and the Birdman got married. And I don't know. What are your thoughts? Do you have any? I don't really care.
Yeah, she married Satan. I don't really, the devil. I think that's dumb. But Tony says a lot of dumb shit, so she says some really dumb stuff. I don't really have anything else outside of it
until I actually see it.
I believe it because she says dumb things for herself. We've heard them come out of her mouth.
She said that's dumb.
That dumb shit about her civilized divorce, aka white, aka Caucasian divorce.
Oh, Tony from.
That's what she said, and I think that was dumb as hell.
I feel like we give Tony a lot because she gives herself a lot. Like she wants to give diva, grande, dame of all things, but
Grammys
let
are
me tell you something.
upstairs.
Let me tell you something. She is very much a hood rat from Maryland.
From Maryland. From Baltimore.
Like outside, I think Severn is actually where she's from. So
Worse.
In which case, if she married Birdman, then I'm not entirely surprised. But I don't want to, allegedly. I'll keep saying allegedly until we have a confirmed story.
Eat my whole body. I don't give a motherfucker.
Put some respect.
I don't agree with that.
I don't really care.
I think that's terrible. I don't care, but I still think it's stupid.
That Tony and Birdman got married.
Yeah, I thought she married him. That's dumb as hell.
But they make each other happy.
He's the devil. He makes everybody happy. The devil transforms himself into an angel of light.
The devil doesn't make me happy. Oh, no, he doesn't.
No. Well, you know what I mean when I say it, like, I'm saying, like, the nigga shows up and pretends to be like little glittery and shiny things. Like a ring.
I don't want to call
a wedding ring.
Birdman the devil.
I will.
What did he do to you, sis?
He didn't do nothing to me, but he don't pay his employees. He steals. He's just all around just terrible.
Well, I didn't know any of that.
Maybe not as bad as Puffy, but.
Oh, did he?
Take that.
I don't know what it is, but that Sean Combs has a special place in my heart.
These videos him and Cassie have been putting up, I've been trying so hard not to like them, and I just can't help it.
I don't know. Maybe it's because
they're just damn
the homeboy. He from Mount Vernon. But
no, he's also not a good person.
That
he would make you walk across the Brooklyn Bridge.
Let him fight. Cheesecake. Somebody need to put that on Hulu or something. I cancel my cable for that. Dylon.
Where's Babs?
Let him fight because I'm tired. I love that.
Where is Babs?
Babs probably got a job at the bank or something somewhere.
She really does. She's tired of y'all at Carver.
All right, girl. Can we get around the kitchen table now because Queen Sugar about to come on. I'm about to miss it. So this week around the kitchen table, we're going to talk about us because, us as a generation, millennials. This is the show about people who are getting grown, navigating, adulthood. The millennial generation is very much in that space. And I feel like it's something we should talk about because everyone has opinions about what millennials are, what characteristics we have, how we act, how we behave. And I think they talk about us so much that we should have some conversations about, we should be able to add our own two cents and
ourselves
3 cents and 5 cents about, who we are, what we feel, whether or not we agree with what's been said. I just thought it would make for good conversation to kind of talk about, what it's like to be a millennial from our perspective and kind of look at the differences in the way, differences between the way we see ourselves and the way that other generations are talking about us. So I guess we can, I pulled up some websites. I will, if I can remember where I got them from because I printed these out a while ago. But I pulled up some websites about millennials, explaining the different characteristics of millennials. Who are the millennials?
Let's define millennials first. Yeah. So the millennials, which are also known as Generation Y, are a demographic cohort following Generation X. There are no precise dates for when this starts or ends. Typically they use the early 80s, as early as 1980. Some people say 81, as the starting birth year, in the mid 90s to early 2000s as the ending birth years. So that is technically the definition of a millennial.
And if you're born in the 80s or the 90s, then you're a millennial, basically.
Yep. They say up to the early 2000s.
So I will, needless to say, the people who wrote these list of characteristics of who millennials are not millennials. So,
no,
they're
baby
more probably Generation Xers or baby boomers. Generation Xers being individuals born from 1962 to 1981, and baby boomers being individuals born from 1946 to 1961. So, all right.
Word.
I will read some of these characteristics. We can talk about whether or not we agree with them or disagree with them, or how our experiences compare to what these characteristics are. And then we will share our own, or how we feel, how we would describe ourselves as generations, Jade and I. And after that, we'll get into some of the things that you guys said when we asked the question on the Twitter sphere earlier this week. Sound like a plan?
Word.
All right. So number one.
Sound like a plan.
Special. The characteristics of the millennial generation. The first characteristic here is that millennials have always been treated like they are special or important. They are very narcissistic. They're the generation of children that has been the most wanted. So parents have celebrated every milestone with celebration and praise. They celebrated every celebration, really? Okay, so they may carry a sense of entitlement about them and have an expectation for frequent positive feedback. And they don't really respond to negative feedback well or at all. It's been instilled in them that they are vital to the nation and to their parents' sense of purpose. And they feel that they are here to solve the world's problems that older generations have failed to solve. They may claim to want privacy, but they crave attention. So what are your thoughts, sis? Do you think that that's a crock of bull-oney?
I agree.
Or do you agree?
No, I agree with parts of that. I do think that millennials have a tendency to be very narcissistic and make things about them. And we have platforms now. So I don't disagree with that either. A lot of people have platforms. They probably have too much platform, too many soapboxes. But I feel like niggas been standing on soapboxes for a really long time. It's just now you're able to be seen by so many people who don't know who you are and can chime in on your life.
Agreed. I also wonder if, I guess you can say this about every characteristic that we will talk about, but it makes me wonder, I don't know if that's just a characteristic of our generation, in who we are, or is it just that other previous generations didn't have the level of access to different platforms or stages
that's a good point.
Do right now, and that in which case, I don't know. I have this will come out as we continue the conversation, but I feel like nothing is new under the sun. A lot of the things that people do now, they've been doing it. They just were doing it in different ways. So I do agree though that this generation of children were really special to their parents. I think that
I know I was a mistake, but I don't.
I just feel like the ways certain. That I don't know. I think I don't know whether or not I was playing. My mother's never shared with me whether or not I was an oops. But I don't know. I guess even in looking at other, in my family, in my friends, I feel like babies are a little harder to come by these days.
I think that it's not as focused on. It's not made as important for people to get married and have babies in our generation as it was in generations prior, which I don't necessarily think is a negative thing.
No, but I mean, even in the sense of like
Made a priority.
yeah.
So to say.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm not articulating this the way that I mean it, but I don't know. I do feel like moms were really excited to be moms, during our generation. Like when our moms were when we were younger. I just think about like, it seems like there was a lot of like, I don't know, like parents were like really excited to be parents. I don't know how else to say it. So I do feel like children were prizes. There was lots of like, oh my gosh, that's my son, that's my kid. Like, get whatever you want. I think Generation Xers had to live through baby boomers who were products of previous generations that had to live through the Depression and stuff. So I think, especially in African American communities, you know, as we've been able to get more education, more access to wealth and different experiences and all kinds of things, we're able to afford our children with things that we were not able to have before. And as such, I think, you know, we probably got things that the generation before us didn't get.
Absolutely. And we'll get to that too.
We will. Yeah. Anyway, so the next one is, so wait, I did want to say though, they feel that they are here to solve the world's problems that older generations have failed to solve.
There's a shirt out there that says, it's a disrespectful shirt, but it says, I'm not my ancestors, or something like that. I'm not my grandfather. You can catch these hands. I don't know, something along those lines. And that is, I guess that teeters on the line of narcissism, but also hope. I mean, I guess it's kind of that fine line of wanting. I guess that's not the best way for you to express that. I guess I understand what you're trying to say, but that's not the best way to express it, only because there were a lot of things that previous generations before us had to deal with that we don't have to deal with. And there are things that we are having to deal with that previous generations, that we see how things have not changed even in 2017.
Yes, but I also feel like this speaks to the things that we value as a generation. So I feel like this generation does not as much. I don't think that we give as much deference and respect to history. And,
I agree. To a lot of things.
And we don't, many of us, I'm not going to speak generally, but many of us don't really have knowledge of, like you were saying, some of the things that other generations have had to go through. And as such, we make light of certain things. And, you know, that whole narcissism and individualistic, you know, that nature, that being more inclined to go for ourselves versus being more acknowledging of the collective experience, which is a trait of previous generations. I think that's what that more speaks to. Yeah, I definitely feel like, you know, they feel that they are here to solve the world's problems that older generations have failed to solve. I don't know. I think that that's
a little harsh.
I don't see, I'm an early millennial though. So, and I'm a millennial raised by a baby boomer. So I think that my experience is going to differ a lot from a millennial that was, you know, born in 1998.
Very much so. I mean, I know Bobby Brown songs.
But I also feel like, you know, so I feel like there's a wider range, and I think there's more variation in this generation than there has been in other generations. So I don't want to spend all the time on the narcissistic one, even though that's probably the biggest. I mean, because we have a generation. I mean, a whole, like, Instagram wouldn't be Instagram if we were a narcissistic generation. But that's like selfies. Come on.
Selfies.
So the next characteristic.
And now selfies with a C.
Oh God. The next characteristic is sheltered. Millennials were highly protected as children. They grew up in a time of increasing safety measures, such as car seats, baby on board signs, school lockdowns. And I will add this is not here, but I feel like millennials also grew up in the time of like Columbine and all of these other crazy things that were taking place where parents would be super protective of their kids. 9/11, come on, all these craziness.
I kind of agree with that.
They were rarely left unsupervised. That's a lie.
That's a lie. I had a house key at like 7, 8.
I don't believe that, but I do feel like maybe that's like that might be a regional thing though, because we were raised in New York, or
I don't know, because I think now I do feel like that is an early generational thing. And we do live in a world that has gotten increasingly crazier as time has gone on, or maybe it hasn't gotten crazier. Maybe we just have more access to more information all over the place. But no, I do think it has gotten crazier.
And I feel like,
but I did come up in a time where I had my own house key. Like I knew,
and I feel
I
like
good.
definition, like unsupervised now doesn't necessarily just mean like left alone, like in a house, but I feel like we can even add to that, like leaving unsupervised being like nobody's watching you specifically, like, you know, unsupervised.
Right.
Like, you know, being raised by the television, being raised by your iPads, those kinds of things can also be added into that equation.
Knowing how to wash your clothes at 9.
Latchkey.
Knowing how to cook food without burning your entire house down.
Self-sufficient. So they were sheltered from having to take care of their own conflicts as parents advocated on their behalf and spared them from unpleasant experiences. That is not my testimony, but...
Nah, same.
I will say though, I feel like as someone who works on a college campus though, I have felt the wrath of a helicopter mother. And you know, to the point we were talking about last week, my mom did spare my brother from the unpleasant experiences of having to do his FAFSA for himself. So maybe.
My mom was just kind of she wasn't overprotective at all, because we had a lot of freedom, but at the same time, my mother was one of them real paranoid black mothers, like the kind that not only instills caution in you, but extreme fear. Right. Because my mom would say crazy shit to us. Like, we'd leave the house, and it was fine for us to leave the house on our own, but it would be like, if anybody tells you to get in their car, you do not get in that car. Do you hear me? If they pull a gun out and put it in your face, you tell them to shoot you on spot before you get in that car. Because the things they're going to do to you are going to be way worse in private. That's literally like the shit my mom would say to us. Like, I'm like verbatim. It's so.
That was crazy.
She would go, and I'm not even going into my mom will go into detail.
Oh man.
You know what I'm saying? About the places that people would take us, the things they would do, to the point where it was like, all right, girl, like, I get it. I'm not going to get in a nigga's car that I don't know. And I never planned on doing so, but thank you so much for instilling that extra layer of fat caution on.
My mom was she was a very involved and a very protective mother, no doubt. But I feel like one thing that she did allow us to have that childhood innocence and naivety, when it came to certain things.
It's nice.
I mean, after a certain age, she would definitely like keep it real, but I can definitely like, yeah, I could definitely say that I was not exposed to a lot of things as a child, because, you know, grown folks' business was a real thing in my house. There were things that just were not, you know, discussed on, and things that I didn't even put the pieces together until later. And I think that was a good thing. I do wish that I would have that she would have been a bit more candid with me about certain things, but I definitely, I think that there is a good thing in being sheltered. But
actually,
I do also
that
feel
actually,
like if it's too much, then it's a whole nother situation.
I will say, like, with our generation, or our segment of our generation, our portion of our generation, whatever, my mother did make sure to keep us children, even though she was super candid and a little bit crazy. There were just things that I was not allowed to do at a certain age until she felt like it was age appropriate, and it generally was age appropriate. It was like, I want to wear lipstick, or, you know, whatever. And she's like, no, you don't need to do that until this age. Like, you don't need to grow up faster than what you are. Whereas now there are girls in the 8th grade contouring their faces.
Carve out.
And so that is definitely
give me sculpture.
I mean, complete with the little the dark joints, and then they put the concealer at the cheekbone. It's like it's a whole lot of stuff going on. Full lace frontals.
So yeah, I will keep going. I hope this is not like boring, but this is funny to me. I'm having a good time. Millennials focus. Yeah. Okay. So confident is the next one. This generation is motivated, goal-oriented, and confident in themselves and the future. They expect college to help them launch them into greatness. I don't agree with that. They may brag about their generation's power and potential. They have high levels of optimism, and they feel connected to their parents. I don't know about that either. They are assertive and believe that they are right. And yeah, that's all for the confident one. So I think that this generation has proven that college is not, I mean, I don't want to say college is not for everyone, but I feel like this generation is probably one of the first to kind of step away from kind of conventional trajectories to professional success. I think that this generation is a bit more strategic, or maybe not though, because I'm thinking I'm thinking about myself as an adult and how I think right now. But even still, when I was in college or getting ready to go to college, I felt like it was not altogether crazy if there was one of my peers or friends was just like, I don't want to go to college right away. It was like, oh, okay, what you gonna do then? Like, so I don't know. Right. I feel like previous generations kind of saw that everyone has to kind of go, you have to kind of follow these steps in order to have success. But I think our generation was probably one of the first ones to step away from that and say like, no, I'm going to go about it this way.
Yeah. Once college really became a thing, because, college wasn't a thing for a while where people didn't have the opportunity to go. And they had no choice but to go and work from an early age to try to provide for families, and things were happening a lot earlier. And then I feel like we really transitioned into a space where college became a super important thing. Like that is the absolute next step after high school. And like you said, I agree where this generation has kind of gotten away. Not everybody, but has kind of started, there are a lot of people who walk around saying college is not for everybody.
Like I don't think that it is. I mean, I don't think college in a traditional sense is for everybody, but I do feel like everybody should have some sort of post-secondary skill set. Or however you get that is absolutely. Your business or wherever your passion is, like you should get that. But I definitely feel like we should all have some level of training about ourselves. Because proficiency is a thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, and Google is not going to do it. I know everyone's out there. I mean, Tiffany Haddish, I love that girl. Like, I think that she's amazing and I'm very grateful and proud of her glow up, but she got to stop going around saying that college is going to be replaced by YouTube, because that's dumb.
No,
that's like not things like because that. One thing we won't do on my watch. One thing I will not allow to go down on my watch is for people to go out, be out here thinking about the internet is just like this infallible, unfallible truths on the internet. That's not the case. Like the internet is wrong 78% of the time. Like I want you all to know it. Just because somebody made a YouTube video about it does not make it credible. Just because you found it on the Google machine does not mean that it's a fact. Like y'all can't be out here believing everything that you see here on the internet, because that's just not it.
You are not going to pay your bills on YouTube. It's just not going to
Even though there are some people who are paying their bills on YouTube, you also want to acknowledge that it takes a lot of work for them to do that.
And skill.
And money and resources. So like, it's not just like.
And skill. And some of y'all niggas just ain't got it. Let's just be very candid here. Like some of you are just really good with your hands. You know how to build things. You know how to put things together really, really well. That's not something I know how to do. You know what I'm saying?
Listen.
Take value in what you know how to do well and then flourish in such.
Bruh.
But just like that young man who helped to host the Gucci Mane 1017 wedding.
Wasn't he from like Instagram or something?
I don't know who he was, but I know that I was not.
I asked Twitter and they was like, he got the job because he's like Instagram famous or something. He has like some YouTube videos. Listen.
And that's great. There are people who are Instagram famous who are also turning on the fries at McDonald's, and that's not shade.
But I'm saying like I can literally trip and fall on my face and be internet famous. Like notoriety does not mean that you, like, this does not, you can't conflate notoriety with quality. Like,
no, you got to get a job. Like,
no, you can't.
You got to
like,
get a skill. Go get a trade.
People are popular for not so good things too, but we're getting off track. So I'm just,
even our good sis Monica Brown went and got a nursing degree. Okay?
I love Monica and her platinum wigs.
That's not shade though. Is what I'm trying to say.
No.
Monica can sing her tits off, but she also went and got herself a job and a trade. If she ever needs to fall back on something, she can forever. My girl from SWV, I just met somebody this weekend who worked with her in like human resources.
Yes, girl,
or something.
because what happens every month?
Lily.
Bills.
Lily.
We have got to work. Listen, but yes, okay, we're getting off track. I'm only going to read one more, and then we're going to, then you're going to tell me what you love about being millennial and what you hate about it. Pressure. This generation we're tightly scheduled as children, and we're used to having every hour of their day filled with structured activity. This generation may have lost a sense of pure, spontaneous play. They may struggle with handling free time and time management in general. And as such, as a result of them being overscheduled, and they feel a pressure to succeed, they usually put themselves under unnecessary and undue stress as adults. They may take on too much and then think others should be more flexible with them when they want to negotiate scheduling conflicts. They think multitasking saves times and it is a smart thing to do, but aren't usually aware of the poorer quality of results that come from doing 17,000 things at one time. I agree. I agree, man. It's so easy, especially now because our attention can be pulled in so many different directions. It's so easy to get caught up in that. But I think that the older I get, the more I'm seeing that there is such benefit in pacing yourself. And like you said, cultivating your passions and where your talent is, and just being able to do what you do super well. Right. So yeah, that one, I was just like, man, is that what it is? Like, I totally was one of those kids that had activities. And I had, pressure was on me to achieve and to be great at all these different things. And when I look at my life right now and all the 43,000 jobs that I have, I wonder, am I doing this because I really want to? Am I doing this because I feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing? Am I doing this because I have all these bills that must be paid? So I don't know, that I feel like that I definitely was like, well, I mean, it's not so easy to say that I agree with that, but I kind of see it. I see it with other people. I see part of that definitely with myself. Not all of it. Only because, I had activities, there were sports and I played the flute and like things like that. But for a good portion, my parents were pretty poor and I didn't have the opportunity to be involved in a whole bunch of activity, early on. You know what I'm saying? So we had that spontaneity that children have. Went out and got in a whole bunch of trouble many times. And I appreciate being able to have that aspect of my childhood. And I do think that has kind of been stripped away a little bit, but I also understand why. You know what I'm saying? I have a kid and I realize all of the trouble that you can get into when you are bored and you have nothing but time to be spontaneous. And so I think it's important to find that balance between, maybe being, overworking children and putting too much structure in their life, but also giving them a little bit of structure and keeping them a little bit busy and helping them to kind of guide their way into some sort of success. So I agree with that. There were aspects that didn't, that weren't my childhood, but I do see it with other peers. Right on. No shade, but I see you with that multitasking thing. Like that's all. That's right up. Oh, that for sure. No, that whole latter half of that was spot on. It was the beginning part. Yeah, no, that latter half, because I do way too many things, bruh. I'm like way too many things, time, girl. I think I'd be tired and out here, but it's just because I'm trying to work. Because I have a skill. I have a job. A lot of them. Yes, several real ones. Several. So, okay, while we're here, let me ask you, what do you love about being a millennial? What do you think that we do really well? What jazzes you about our generation? And then on the other side of that, what do we do that you wish we didn't do sometimes or all the time?
what I love about our generation is we are a very innovative generation. And a lot of that may come from convenience and access to things that previous generations didn't have access to, such as the internet. And it's afforded us a lot of opportunity to be creative. I think that our generation thinks outside of the box quite often now, and we figured out ways in order to try to manifest our happiness, which I think is dope. I also really love the fact that we have embraced importance of mental health. I think that that is super important, and it is something that previous generations didn't place as much importance on. It was very taboo, not spoken about. So I love that we really focus on that. But I think that we are a generation of narcissists. I think that we have the ability to make everything about us that don't have nothing to do with us. And it is because of those platforms that we've been given, social media and so forth. And so it's allowed a lot of niggas to scream a lot of really loud and awful opinions. And so that's probably some of the things that I don't like about our generation. What about you?
I think, it's, y'all probably know what I'm going to say. I think that one of the things that I love so much about this generation is I feel like, we are the smartest, like legit, like we're the most educated generation ever.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think that that's amazing. I think that we have so much intellectual capital. There's so many bright ideas out here. There's so much innovation going on. I think it's really exciting. It's exciting for me to be, in the phase of life where I am, because I'm really inspired by all the grinding that's going on around me. Like, I think because of all the access that we have to social media, and because we have so many examples of other people who are out there doing it, we are kind of busting out of those conventional boxes of life and career, and, doing what we want. And I think that that's really exciting. You know what I'm saying? Like,
motivation.
If I want to have an event, I have one. I don't have to be somebody. I don't have to, you know what I'm saying? If I want to do something, if I want to build something, I have access to the tools that I need to do in order to do that. And I think that that's just,
if I want to host 2 podcasts,
you know what I'm saying? You can do it.
You can do
it. And I think that level of access is like really something that should be celebrated. But I think the risk that comes with that, and kind of the counter side of that, but that I don't so much enjoy, is that I think because of that level of access and how quick and seamlessly we can acquire some things, that we don't really have a concept of process, and we don't have a concept of the time and energy and focus that it takes to do certain things. And I think that we've kind of lost respect for craftsmanship. And when I say craftsmanship, I don't necessarily just mean in the sense of like, I constructed this desk and it's a beautifully crafted desk. I'm talking about craftsmanship in terms of whatever I do, like whatever time, you know what I'm saying? Like we jump around from job to job. We do what we want to do, but we don't like the time that it takes to build legacy. Like, you know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff is almost frowned upon now, but I think it's legit. Like if you tell me that you've been doing something, like I'm gonna give you a case in point. One of my current mentors, like somebody who God is just awesome, is he just be opening doors. He literally just be like, let me put Keia right here. Like I'm gonna just sit Keia right here. She don't know what she's doing. Let me just help her because she's just walking around with her thumb up her butt. Like just what? I don't know. But, I had an opportunity to work with a scholar. This man has literally had a 40-year career. We were at a meeting, the meeting that I was at in Atlanta. He was telling us, he's executive director of this research group that I'm working, executive director of this research program that I'm working with right now. And he was telling us about some of the early grants that he wrote and, during the early part of his career. And he was saying, I had the opportunity, there's this really prestigious award. It's like this opportunity to kind of present your research in Italy at the Bellagio Research Center. Like, who knew that the Bellagio was actually like a real place and not just like the casino in Las Vegas? But anyway, that's how dumb I was. I was like, well, let me Google that. So he could tell us about this prestigious research awards. Like, you can literally, if you have this innovative idea, you can present in front of all these people, and you can go to Bellagio for a week, and, you know, it's awesome. And he was like, yeah, the first time I presented, you know, it was in 1982. And my mouth dropped. Why? Because he was like, what's the matter? I was like, I was born in 1982. You have been doing this my entire life. You literally have been doing this work for my entire life. And I had enormous amount of respect for him, but it like tripled in that just in that millisecond when he told me that, because I realized that I was literally sitting next to a lifetime of information. And I was humbled and honored and so grateful, ready to cry. I went back into my room, had a little praise break, because I'm like, Lord, what did I do for you to sit me next to this man that has all this information, who is willing to teach me how to do the work that I want to do? So, I mean, I think that our generation, I wish that we can just learn how to respect the greats, man. Like, I think, you know, and take advantage. I love sitting around older people and just learning, just being quiet and learning. I think a lot of times us as millennials, we get out here, we want to prove a point. We want to talk and say, oh, I know, and Mr. Me Too. And girl, get somewhere and shut your mouth and just be quiet. Like, I want to sit around. I want to sit around and learn as much as I can, because that's really what it's all about. It's not what you have. Yes, it's nice to have nice things, but it's awesome. Like, can't nobody take anything from you if you know. And knowing doesn't always mean that you have to talk. Sometimes you can just be quiet and listen.
That's it.
But yeah, I mean, I didn't want to go off on that tangent, but that was more like, I mean, that's really what it was like. Man, I wish that we as a generation could just have greater respect for the process and how long it takes to do some things. And I think what really taught me that level of respect was a dissertation. No shade. Because it's literally something that I had to do that no one could help me do. I wrote every word of that. Like I wrote, and I sat in a chair. I sat on my butt and literally typed every single word. There was no fast forward. There was no cutting and pasting. I typed every letter of that joint. So I feel like that, and in that process, it was horrible. God, like it was, you know, I talked to Jade every day. I was writing, and I would cry. I would FaceTime her with tears in my eyes. I would be in my kitchen making spinach and mushrooms, and she would be laughing at me, and I would be like, sis, I hate it all. I don't want to do this. I don't know what I'm doing. I hate it. But, you know, I would wipe my nose and I would sit down and do it, and I would learn that even though it felt like, I'm trying not to curse because I'm doing this Speak Life challenge in my church.
Oh,
but
nice.
It felt like SHIIT, not double I.
Like some bullshit.
Yes, honey. Felt like all of that. It was awful.
Same for you.
Yes, but the process is what really taught me how to do this work, and that's what kind of gives me the credibility and the confidence to sit in the spaces where I sit now. And I'm still learning. But I feel like because I went through all the treachery, I'm able to come and sit in the rooms where I am now and have a little bit to say.
I respect that so much, and I agree with you that I feel like prior generations are so much more patient than we were.
Yeah, man.
Or that we are. And I respect that patience. Now I do understand how you can turn that into, you can flip that, you know, because that can also become a complacency thing.
Oh,
yes.
Yes.
A fine line between that.
That's
as
a good
well.
point.
You know what I'm saying? There's a fine line between complacency and patience. And I respect those generations for teaching badass kids for 25, 30, 40 years. You know what I'm saying? Staying at a job, you know what I'm saying, for the last 15, 25 years. They're able to retire from that job. I do love that our generation, you know, a bounce around can be a negative thing, but I love that our generation is always looking to be better.
Agreed.
We're always looking to grow. We're always looking to try to find the next level, but you have to learn how to cultivate some of that patience and incorporate those previous generations so you can find that level of success. And, for myself, I ain't never wrote a dissertation in my life, clearly. I like, you know, a nigga, yeah, I've never written a dissertation. However, when it comes to like cooking, you know what I'm saying? I'm good at what I do. Like, I know how to cook, and I'm really
You've been
proud
doing it
of
for years, bruh.
I've been doing it for a long time, and I appreciate like the event this weekend. You know what I'm saying? You all saw the event. You get to see pictures and you see little videos, and we moved the tables and niggas got to swag surf. It's great, but the work that goes into that, I don't think people understand. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to counting the number of heads that you have, how many portions each person gets, how many ounces they get. You got to do math. You got to figure out how much liquor to buy so that you're not overbuying, you're not overspending, figuring out where to host something so that you're not spending too much money, tables and chairs, every ingredient that goes into every dish that was made. Everything's homemade, every sauce, every rub, everything that was there took time and patience. And one thing I don't do well is bake. I'm getting much better at it. Before I couldn't bake a biscuit to save my life. And you know why I couldn't bake biscuits?
Because you're impatient.
Because I was impatient. I was not chilling my butter the way that I should have and following the proper steps. Even up until now, sometimes not following the proper steps. And it's just now that I'm really placing a lot of importance and really figuring out, like, okay, I have to be patient when it comes to certain things in order for me to achieve some level of success. Because if I rush through it and try to do it my way, it's not necessarily going to come out the way that it's supposed to.
Bruh, and I mean, not just for baking. I think I remember where I was, probably church or something. We was talking about like the same thing about how process and stuff. But dude was like, don't nobody want a pot roast cooked in the microwave.
That's it.
It take time. It takes time for things.
Who wants eggs out of the microwave?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
nobody.
It takes time for good things. Good things take time. So I wish that we as a generation would sit with that a little bit more, especially a little bit more, even not just professionally, but like even in relationships. Like it takes time. Good things take time. Like it takes time for you to get to know that nigga before you be letting them all up in your house. Like it takes time.
We're not telling we're not telling you to stay with a nigga who has a whole outside family.
Right. No.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying, I'm saying it takes time to get to know. Like I'm saying, like I think we rush into things just as a whole. We rush into friendships. Everybody your bestie. Like after y'all went to Fridays 3 weeks in a row for happy hour. Now she's your sis. Like I think it just takes time. You know what I'm saying? People, even we were talking about earlier in the show, people assume that because we doing this podcast now that we just now getting here. No, me and Jay been friends for years. Like it takes time for us to build the kind of rapport where we can bounce off of one another the way that we do. And, this podcast, it blows my mind that we are as popular and people as many of you wonderful listeners are listening the way Absolutely. That you are. But I also feel like we're going to continue to get better with time. I know that, we're still relatively really early in the game. That's why when y'all be asking for like live shows and all that stuff, we would love to do that stuff. But I'm just like, girl, it's been like 3 days.
Right.
3 whole days.
Like let us hit a year and then we'll talk to
give
y'all.
Give us some time. Give us some
like, when we getting praise the Lord, niggas teachers?
Like,
we're only on episode 8.
It's episode 10. So it's like, we give us a few minutes. We just need a little time. Just a little time to get ourselves together. But, yeah, I want to read a couple of the ones we got on Twitter because they were really good. Then we're going to wrap this up because we've been talking forever and ever. At Cha Trail says, I love being a millennial. We are so loud about what we want. But what annoys me is that we want instant gratification. So clearly we were on the same page, sis.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Glorious Dysfunction. That's such a good name, right? Her name is at Roxy Allure. The ability and entitlement to challenge social norms, relics, and ideologies for which other generations either accepted freely or were punished for. I think that was good. I think, like I said, with that education that we've been able to acquire as a generation, I think we are now in a position to be more critical of like systems and norms and the way, and just questioning why things are the way that they are. I think that's a great point. Glorious.
Yes, I was having that conversation with XD the other day because we were talking about I need to say this the right way. I'm trying to figure out, I forget what it's called. Y'all gotta bear with me. It's when persons refer to themselves as they and their what is it called?
What?
Where they don't identify as the sex.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
I think so, but I don't want to.
I'm not trying to be offensive at all. So don't take this as such for you guys listening. But anyway, you know what I'm trying to say, and it's going to come to me as soon as I'm done talking about it. But just in that sense where, you know, this is new. I'm not saying that the idea of it is new, but people are still adjusting
and learning. I don't even want to say learning, but we're learning. We're learning how
being educated.
Absolutely.
Still being educated on things that we're not familiar with. And so that's one thing about our generation. And I think that ties in sometimes with the narcissism, where we tend to take things in people's ignorance or their early levels in that education of that particular subject and get upset about it. And you've got to give people time to understand where you're coming from. Now, this does not speak for people who are just complete, you know, bigots or don't want to hear what you're talking about or, you know, are disrespectful in how they refer to you. But this is speaking for people who don't know and are trying to understand. And I think sometimes with our generation, we tend to get very impatient in that sense as well, and get upset when people are not on the same level that we are in understanding a particular subject. And I'm just using that as an example because, you know, that's something that's spoken about quite often these days. What is it? God damn, what is it called? You know what I'm trying to say, though. You know what I'm trying to say, and I'm not being disrespectful, but I'm just saying that this is a subject in which people are trying to be educated on. This is something that people are still learning. Crystal always, she has, no, you know what? I'm not even going to say that. I'm not even going to put myself out there like that. Nope. Or a problematic buzzer for me every time I talk.
Yes.
But And it's not because I'm trying to be problematic. It's because I'm trying to understand. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure it out so that I can be respectful, so that I can be educated on what it is, so that I can, you know, I can treat people in the way that they want to, or I can speak to you in whatever pronouns you want to be spoken to, or whatever the case. We need to be a little bit more patient with people who are trying to understand how we see the world, because everybody don't see the world the way that we see it.
Fair.
I hope I said that in the most non-offensive way as possible, because I was not trying to be.
I mean, I think I follow. I think, you know, in this age where people are more empowered to speak their experience, we have to be mindful, mindful of our own privilege. And yes, how the identities that we carry position us in ways that will marginalize others. So,
and that's a good thing about. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you good.
But that is a good thing about our generation, is that I feel like we're doing that. I feel like we're trying to inch closer to that.
Agreed. Yeah. And I think the point that I hear, and I could be wrong, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the point that I hear you trying to make is that there are those of us who may carry privileged identities, who, you know, are ignorant of the helpful and respectful and appropriate ways to engage.
Exactly.
And as such, we would appreciate a little patience from members of those marginalized identity groups.
Yes.
And I know that it's not your responsibility to educate us, but, you know, as people who are seeking to be respectful of all, we just would appreciate, you know, that, you know, because I think it's easy for us to, one of the ones is someone, I was trying to find it, but one of our listeners said that, you know, one of the things that she doesn't like about our generation is that we're so easily offended. Not necessarily, I don't want to say easily offended, but like, you know, it doesn't take much for, you know, for someone to take offense. Well, maybe it is easily offended.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm hesitant to say that because I feel like I don't like telling people what they can and cannot be offended about. But at the same time, I think that, you know, we have gotten to a place where we are no longer able to have meaningful conversations about things because we bring our emotions
into it so quickly.
into conversation so quickly. And I think that that's fair because a lot of us are dealing with very real emotions. You know,
Absolutely.
when you deal with hatred, it's hard for you to to curb your reaction to that in order for you to have a meaningful response. But I guess what I'm offering is that a lot of us, many people are not mindful of the ways that in which that they can be offensive or even hateful.
Right.
So, you know, I think
now, if I came at Hazel E. y'all and then like got real mad and start calling everybody the F word, I cuss a lot, but I ain't saying that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that would be wrong. But when I'm telling you, I don't understand, help me to understand, don't get upset about that. I'm telling you that I want to understand so that I can be respectful. And then again, as you brought out the tweet that just came out, I remember I had a picture. You remember the picture that I put up on like Women's Day last year? I don't know if you saw it, and it ended up going viral. Like shit got like some 50,000 something or others.
Oh dear.
It was a lot of likes. It was a lot of positivity. So basically I put this picture up. I used a Snapchat filter for International Women's Day. It said, this is what a woman looks like. And it was a picture of myself. Okay. Everybody heed the keywords. And, it was a filter. And then I had a sign that we made at work that said, anything you can do, I can do bleeding. Now I want you to see those operative like pronouns that I, anything you can do, I can do. That's not, do you know how many people jumped in my mentions and down my throat about how I was excluding those of the transgender community, how I was being offensive and triggering to women who have had reproductive issues or cannot have a period. I mean, it was, and I was like, but I wasn't talking to y'all or about y'all. I was talking about myself. Like, I can't speak to your experience. I can only speak to my experience.
Yeah, it's tough. And I mean, that was really, I mean, you can probably, attest to the fact that it was one of my main hesitations about even doing this podcast, because I feel like everything that you say, when you open yourself up to the public, you also open yourself up to be public scrutiny. Ooh. And it's not easy or enjoyable to be picked apart, especially
shame ass generation.
Exactly. And it's, so I mean, I didn't want to get on this point. I understand that, it's never our intention to offend anyone. We want to be inclusive and respectful, at all times. And that's something that I think that, other generations, to get back on point, other generations have been slower to reach that position. At Miss Meek says, I like that millennials are go-getters, always making something happen. What annoys me is this sense of entitlement. And I'll read one more. I love our self-love, that we are embracing all of who we are and pulling away from standards of beauty that don't serve us as a community. She said, I dislike how naive we can be toward our own individual privilege. We're quick to judge folks who haven't had the access that we have had. There was another one. Miss JNYC 75 says, I also, I've come to appreciate the entrepreneurial spirit that says I can make anything a career. I also can't stand the fact that millies have little understanding of you don't always get what you want just because you ask nicely. So yeah, we can be averse to the no. That's for sure.
Generation of toddlers.
Absolutely. Even that being said, I mean, I thank you guys, everyone. I didn't get a chance to read all the comments that we got, all the tweets that we got. We got some really great ones. I love when you guys, oh, I had to read this one because it's just in my face. At Moon Leo Sun says, I love that we have a relentless spirit to achieve our dreams. Nothing stops us. I hate that reading comprehension is not everyone's forte.
Talk about, who is this? Who said that again?
Her name is at Moon Leo Sun.
At Moon Leo Sun. Thank you. Because niggas don't read.
Leo Moon and Sun. Thank you, sis. Because you had did that. But yeah, I mean, this as usual, we just talking. I'm sure that you all will let us know your thoughts and feelings and opinions in the comments. and we welcome those.
Absolutely.
I just thought it would be cool for us to just talk about ourselves a little bit. Everyone, millennial is one of the most overused words in the world. I feel like everybody's talking about us and we don't ever get a chance to weigh in on what's being said. So I thought it would be a meaningful, productive, and enjoyable conversation. So I thought it was a good idea. Hopefully y'all didn't hate it. We can move on to Honesty Box though.
Hey,
Honestly?
truly, it's the Honesty Box. It's the Honesty Box. It's the Honesty Box. It's the Honesty Box. All right. So I'm going to start our Honesty Box this week. Hey, Jade and Keia, let me start by saying I absolutely love you ladies. I'm a new member of Team Typing Fast, and y'all definitely help my days go by faster. That's right.
Welcome.
I'm going to try to make this short while still giving the details. I'm a single mother of an almost 3-year-old. Me and her father aren't in a relationship, obviously, and he asked me 3 months ago, when are you going to be ready to meet the girl I'm talking to? I told him that it's no point for me to meet someone that I don't feel should be around my child. My personal opinion on dating or being in a relationship with someone who is not the child's other parent is that it's a very serious relationship. There's no reason for a child to be involved in the situation for various reasons. Agreed. For one, you just never really know people nowadays and will most definitely go to prison behind my baby. Same. Recently, I guess he called himself frustrated that I won't let our baby be around his girlfriend. He basically told me he doesn't care what I think or believe. He's going to do what he wants. I'm completely against this, seeing as though they've only been dating for 3 months. He's one of those people who won't listen to anyone's opinion if it's not what he wants to hear. Needless to say, our adult conversation about this subject never goes well because while he was in prison, I dated someone for over a year and never had our child around him. I feel that I'm not respected in my decision. I'm not asking for forever, but 3 months is a very short time to think it's okay to have someone around a child. I'm at my wit's end with him and in this situation. How can I get him to just wait to try to understand and respect me as her mother? Because I would do the same. I feel as if he's mad that he's not with me because his favorite line in pleading his case is "we're not together." I'm actually not mad at me at all, or mad at all. LOL. After his door closed, another opened. I've met someone, and he also has a child, but we're on the same page with this issue. I'm looking forward to your great advice. Thanks, lady. Sincerely, the not bitter baby mama.
It's important.
Yeah.
Not to be bitter. It's important not to be bitter.
What you think, sis?
Jesus. Well,
Yeah.
I don't really, I don't have no children. I don't really know. I think it's absolutely fair for you to, not want, I feel like it's fair. I mean, okay. Let me make sure. Let me go back. Let me think. I'm thinking as I process because,
She's an introvert.
I'm an introvert. So let's go back to the beginning. He says he has a girlfriend. Baby daddy got a girlfriend. Baby daddy wants girlfriend to meet her baby mama.
Baby mama. Yep.
And she does not want to meet the baby mama.
The baby mama does not want to meet the girlfriend.
Okay, well then no. Okay, all right. I was confused because I was like, is it a case where the father is trying to bring them together so that she can,
He said, when are you going to be ready to meet the girl I'm talking to? Now,
So that's what I'm saying. If he's trying to bring them together, I feel like if it were me, I would at least be open to meeting the young lady. I wouldn't make any promises, but I would be open to be meeting the young lady. I would need to meet her actually before I would feel comfortable.
That's it.
I would need to meet her. I would need to meet her.
With her being around my kid.
With her being, before I would feel comfortable with her being around my child, I would need to meet her and not just kind of like, hey sis, how you doing? But I would need to engage with her. I think the second area of concern that I would have is not even to get into their business, but my concern would be, I do not want this to become a practice to where you're introducing my child to women every 6 to 9 months, every 3 months.
100%.
So
agreed.
I think that I do feel like, so what question is she asking us? She wants to know what.
She just wants advice.
I would need to know why you don't want to meet her. And why are you so adamant?
She said it.
Why? Okay.
She said, I told him that there's no point to meet someone that I don't feel should be around my child. Now,
why does she not feel that she should be around her child already?
Because she's only been around 3 months.
So it's a timing thing.
It's a timing thing. And she also doesn't feel, because of the details that we didn't disclose, and because she said he's always saying, we're not together, so she feels like he's bitter. Here's my thing. I get it. Like, I understand. Okay? So I want to validate you in that sense. I totally get it. I feel
3 months is not a long time to date somebody.
It's fresh.
3 months is not a long time to date somebody. It's not a long time.
It's very fresh. No. And I understand you not wanting him to be bringing everybody around your kid. Like Keia said, every 6 to 9 months, there's a new lady around the baby. However,
cause she's 3.
You gotta start somewhere.
You do have to start somewhere.
Unfortunately, he's going to do what he wants to do, as you said. He's going to have that baby around that woman at some point or another, whether you like it or not. And so what I would do if I were you, and I'm only saying this as a mother, and this is just my personal opinion, you got to suck it up and meet that woman. Only because you want to know who's going to be around your kid. And I get it. You have these moments where you get crazy, or, you do anything for your baby. You'll kill for your baby. I feel the same way. I will do anything for my kid. I will lay down in the middle of the street if I had to, whatever it is. But if the nigga is going to move a certain way, then you got to be ready. You got to stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. And so if that means putting your eyes on that woman and having a conversation with her about the type of person that she is, and even not aggressively, but expressing your expectations of what you want around your child, I think that is very important, and that's your responsibility. If he's going to take that upon himself to make it happen.
I think you go in, you have questions, and you arm yourself with as much information as possible. You need to learn about this individual, the girlfriend. You need to learn as much about her. You need to know the conditions under which she's going to be with your child. Is it going to be a situation where y'all going to be hanging out at his house like one big happy family, or is it going to be a condition? Is it ever going to be a time where you're going to be with my child and he's not? So I agree with Jade that it would be in your best interest. I think for me to want to know who this person is and to be able to have access to her to ask pertinent questions.
You don't have to be her best friend.
Yeah, y'all don't have to kick it or go to Applebee's for happy hour or $5 margaritas. But I think that, but I do feel like you don't have anything to lose in having a conversation with her. 3 months is not a long time. But given you're justified. And I think that it's okay to say that. And I mean, who knows what will happen. I would not go into the conversation expecting things to go a certain kind of way. I think because of your relationship with him, you may have certain expectations of her. And I think you should give her the benefit of the doubt by at least meeting her. You just go over there and hear what she has to say. Now, if you get over there and she's talking crazy, that's another conversation, but don't go over there or assuming that she is a terrible person or anything like that.
Right.
Right. So I think right now you just remain neutral and just arm yourself with as much information as possible so that you can know, informed decisions are the best decisions. You can know. I think that will govern what you do from here. But this is hard. I don't know.
I know you feel away, and you have every right to feel away. But the thing about it is you can't control him. You can't control his actions. You can only control yourself. And you can only, like Keia said, guard yourself as best as you can. And that includes meeting the person that he insists is going to be around your child. Because it's your child, and your child is your first interest. And so you've got to put your own emotions to the side for a second, and you've got to put your own judgments to the side for a second so that you can make sure and you can be set that the person who's going to be around your kid is a person who you want to be around your kid. And then if it's not if she doesn't display herself to be a decent person, then that's a different conversation. But I don't think you need to go into it initially with that mentality. Try to give her the benefit of the doubt. Again, you don't have to be her best friend, but you got to do what's best for your baby, and you got to know who's around your kid.
And I think it's best for all parties involved for you to try to handle this situation as amicably as possible at first. I think if everyone goes into the conversation or goes into the discussion, you know, open and optimistic for there to be a positive outcome, I think they will be more likely to get there. Now, if you go in there with the open and expecting a positive outcome, if you go in there with an open mind and you know, you go in there, you know, with all good intentions, ready to just do this the right way, and then if other parties get to acting crazy, then you can say, and you will have, you know, leverage to say, you know, I tried, so that if it turns out that you have to kind of use your force in other ways around your decision not to allow, you know, this person to be around your child, then you can do that. Yeah. Does that make sense?
And you're justified in it.
Yeah. I just think, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, given the other information that you shared that we won't read on the air, given the other information that you shared, if it comes down to it where you would need to put things in place to ensure, you know, that your child is not around people that you don't want them to be around, then you will have the leverage, you know, in those instances to say that I tried to go about this the good Christian way, but the people were not receptive to that. So now I have to, right, you know, I got to do what I got to do. And I hope that you follow what I'm saying. And, but I'm hopeful and optimistic and hoping that everybody can get on the same page about this, because like Jay said, baby girl is she is of optimum importance. She's the priority here. We want her to have a great relationship with her mom and her dad. So we have to be flexible as parents. Not stupid.
Not
but
stupid,
flexible.
But flexible.
I hope that helps you. And listen to Jade, because she's a mom and I have a plant named Maurice Greenleaf. He's beautiful. And he's growing so tall. I'm proud of him.
That means you're doing a good job, sis.
He's out here thriving. He is thriving. Maurice Greenleaf is thriving. I love him.
That's right. Mm-hmm. You better love him right.
That's my boo.
Well, let's move on to the petty peeves.
All right, then.
And I want to be very responsible of the things I say to my sister, because everybody know I can be real petty. P-E to the T-T-Y, honey.
It's time for the petty peeves.
Sing, girl.
Thank you. So, what's your petty peeve this week, sis?
I got a petty peeve. Stop taking things off my desk. They don't belong to you. I don't care if I'm in the office. I don't care if I'm beside the office. I don't care if I'm at home. I don't care if I'm here, there, near, far, wherever you are. You better not touch nothing.
On a train,
that was on my desk that belongs to me. Like, I don't want to hear. I don't want to see nothing that's mine on your desk. I don't want you to come and tell me later that I had borrowed this. Don't touch my things. Do not touch my things.
Don't touch my things.
That's really all. And I mean, you know, I say this, you got to teach people, you know, how to treat you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That goes, you know, both ways. You know, you have to teach people the things that you appreciate, things that you like, things that make you happy, so that hopefully the people that love you will want to see you happy, so they will do those things. But you got to let people know the things that don't really fly with you. I had something on my desk, it was a webcam, right? And I had it on my desk. I remember when I first got there, I remember when they gave me my computer, all this stuff, I remember having the webcam. One day my webcam grew legs and just walked away. I was like, huh. But I know that IT comes in and out. They handle things, you know the things be moving and grooving. Maybe it fell behind the desk and I just didn't look for it. I didn't make a big deal out of it, but because I didn't have a need for it at the immediate time. This week I had conference calls and needed to be on webcam, but I had to go to the conference room because my webcam was in was not in my office or wasn't on my computer where it usually was. So one of my coworkers came by, kind of like inquired as to why I was in the conference room and not at my desk. And I was like, well, I have these conference calls. And she said something to the effect of like, you can have yours back. You can have your webcam back. And I was like, oh, that's so funny because I don't recall giving my webcam to you, sis.
First of all, it's mine.
I said, now this is just fascinating for a few reasons, because what blew my mind was like, she said you can have your webcam back. Like I was supposed to just thank her for taking my things. Like, sis, you weren't supposed to have what?
It was never yours.
It was
always mine.
The first order of business that we need to address here is why you have my webcam.
Mine.
Like mine. You said you can have yours back. So let's check the pronouns, sis. Like, That's my petty peeve. Don't touch my things. Don't touch my things.
I agree.
Don't touch my things. I listen, my coworker, I don't have no, and I had to just, kind of sit with that because in the heat of the moment, I was unable to address the situation. So I said, okay, okay, I'm just going to sit with this and let the Lord work this out. And I'm going to have to come back and have a conversation with her about it at some point. Cause I just need to know at which point I'm trying to think, right, because I know I'm out of the office quite a bit. So I'm just like, I just would hate to think that while I'm out of the office, people just coming in and out of my space, just taking what they need off my desk without, so much as sending your girl an email. Like if she would have sent me an email and said, hey, I had to borrow this. I'm going to put it back, ABCD, XYZ. You know what I'm saying? I'd have been like, all right, bet, cool. But for me to be like, unaware of where the webcam was, and then for you to just kind of say, oh, I have it. Oh, well.
That's not okay. I write everything that belongs to me. I write on it with a very large and obnoxious gold marker. Very loud and obnoxious. My petty peeve this week is the police. There have been 3 shootings in my neighborhood. In the last 2 weeks.
Oh my God.
Most in broad daylight. At operative hours in which people are commuting. So I understand the heightened sense of police presence in the neighborhood right now, even though I feel a way about them in general. And they, they stand, there's one of the shootings happened like pretty much directly across the street. So they've been right in front of our house, like on the corner. Now they're either in a van or a car, or they're standing on the street, on the block. And every time I go in my house, they speak, hey, how you doing? They're very eager to speak, and I'm not. I just give them a But last night, Crystal came over, and she sent me a text, and she's like, I'm here. So I went downstairs to open the door. And as I open the door, and then I go to open the screen door, there are 2 cops scurrying like 2 rats, getting their drinks off of my banister and hurrying up and scooting off of my steps in front of my house. And I opened the screen door really wide and quickly, like, what the hell are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you here right now? Why are you sitting on my steps? I know why you're in this area, but why are you sitting on my steps? And so they quickly apologized, like I said, and they ran like rats, and Crystal came in, and we both like, what the fuck? And so today I got my white woman on, and I called the precinct.
I was told by AppleCare.
That's exactly what I did. I put on my asymmetrical wig, shake and go, and I proceeded to make a complaint.
I'd like to file a complaint.
Hi, I'd like to speak to the manager.
Hello, can I speak to your superior, please?
I did. I put on my full white woman complaining costume.
A great white woman voice. Good afternoon. It is tried and true, girl. She is ready, on the ready at all times.
Sis. I called and I was like, hi, hello. Hello. I was like, so listen, there have been 3 shootings in my area, and I know that you all are going to be all up in the place, but tell your people don't sit on my steps. And the officer on the other end was like, I'm sorry, what? And I said, last night I had a guest and I go down to open the door and 2 of y'all were sitting on my steps.
You say y'all. Like,
I did. I said 2 of y'all were sitting on my steps too.
Okay.
2 of yous was sitting on my steps, as my grandfather would say. As Perino Ramon.
My steps.
I was so upset.
I gotta go
I
to
was
bed.
listen, I know, I was like, the last thing that I need up in my neighborhood is for 2 cops to be sitting directly on my steps in front of my house, for niggas to be looking at my house and trying to figure out what's going on with 2 officers sitting on my steps. I said, y'all about to put my family in that situation? Absolutely not. I was like, do not put my family in any more predicaments. Call whoever is in charge and tell them that the chunky white lady who was sitting on my steps and the other one who were there at 8:00 last night, tell them don't come in my gate anymore. Don't bring that attention to my house. They were on my steps. Cause you know how my house is set up. They came in my gate and sat on my
Y'all supposed to be working. Y'all just out here lamping on the
like,
stoop.
old girl had to get her big slurp or whatever the shit is called from 7-Eleven off of my banister because she had her shit sitting on my banister, sitting on my steps in front of my door.
I believe it's a big gulp.
What did I say?
You said a big slurp.
A giant sip, whatever the shit is called.
A swig, my nigga.
An extra large gulp.
I would like an extra large swig, please. Hold the ice.
Like, whatever the fuck it's called. The bitch had to get it off my banister, and I was not happy about it. I was like, take that big face bitch and her big gulp and get it off my steps and tell him don't come in my gate no more or it's gonna be a problem. And he was like, I'm gonna talk to the sergeant. I'm so sorry about that. That is not protocol. I said, I know it's not. I was like, get them niggas a car and get them off my steps. So that is my petty peeve this week.
Be where you're supposed to be.
NYPD, leave me alone. I don't like y'all, but I really try to be a peaceful person because I don't feel like having any run-ins. It's been too many of those. And so therefore leave me alone and I will leave you alone.
Thus concluding episode 31 of Getting Grown with Jade and Keia. We do appreciate you for your continued support, and we do wish that you would concern. And we do hope that you would continue to join us. Tune in weekly. We'll be back on our regularly scheduled foolishness next week, next Tuesday. Shout out to Ty for working with us on getting this to you guys this week.
Always.
And always, yes, he be holding us down. Thanks to everybody for listening. And liking and commenting and subscribing and sharing, all of you. Like, we're still growing. We can't believe it. We're really excited, and we're hoping that y'all will continue to stay tuned. That's all we got, right, sis?
That's all I got.
So yeah, God bless y'all. Continue to drink your water, mind your business, and moisturize.
Mind your business
because
and moisturize
your skin and moisturize your soul, because your black will, in fact and absolutely, always crack if it's dry.
Bye.
Bye. Ooh, that was loud.
That was loud. That was on Jennifer Hudson.
I know, right?
God damn.
Heavy. You guys are heavy on me.
I don't like.
What was that other Jennifer Hudson noise? I can't think with Tay. She made a noise in that song, and Tay always used to make
Starlight?
me do it. No, what's the
Well, I don't like.
No, it wasn't Spotlight. It was another noise she did in the song with me. I'm gonna think about it. Maybe I'll open the show with that next